It looks like Justin Baldoni may have a very strong case against the New York Times. Blake Lively is not a good person, that they were plotting with the New York Times for months to smear him. She has proven herself not to be a kind person. Within 24 hours, published the complaint in its entirety, and it looked suspicious. If you look at that URL,
Candace Owens is making some bold claims. Behind the scenes, the drama between Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and Ryan Reynolds is far from ordinary. She insists there's solid proof that Lively worked behind Baldoni's back to push him out of his own project, and Reynolds may have played a role in the scheme. Hollywood is no stranger to co-star conflicts, creative clashes, and last-minute rewrites. Those things happen all the time. But according to Owens, this situation is on a whole different level. She points to oddly timed media reports, hidden metadata on a major newspaper's website, and a bombshell red carpet statement that allegedly blindsided the entire production team.
Primarily, people don't like to work with Blake Lively. I can also tell you personally, the rudest person that she had ever worked with was Blake Lively. The New York Times saved this image 4 days before they published the piece. Can you explain why?
If what she's saying is true, Baldoni, once celebrated for championing strong female leads, was completely outmaneuvered by one of Hollywood's most powerful couples and their influential connections. Now, the big question is, could this explosive situation lead to legal action? Or at the very least, leave lasting damage on some high-profile reputations? Owens insists there's way more to this than people realize. For those unfamiliar, she's a well-known commentator famous for her controversial takes and her willingness to challenge mainstream narratives. Candace Owens is usually known for her political and cultural commentary, not Hollywood drama. So when she set her sights on the escalating feud between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, social media instantly took notice. In a multi-part expose, Owens laid out what she calls undeniable proof of a calculated effort to strip Baldoni of his directorial power over It Ends With Us. She claims leaked text messages, voice notes, and digital breadcrumbs all point to a coordinated smear campaign, one that allegedly started weeks or even months before Lively's public accusations. Owens insists this isn't just about creative disagreements, it's a deliberate attempt to sideline or even discredit Baldoni entirely. Her bombshell claims quickly sent shockwaves through both fans and skeptics alike. While many question her perspective, especially since she's not exactly an insider in Hollywood's elite circles, the so-called proof she's presented, particularly the mysterious metadata, has even her critics taking a second look. After all, in today's digital age, tiny details buried in timestamps and file names have been known to expose major scandals. And one of Owens' most jaw-dropping claims? She says damning material was found on the New York Times servers. Fans were already raising eyebrows at how fast the Times published a scathing article tying Baldoni to a supposed claim. But when online sleuths started combing through the article's source code and file history, they allegedly found something that could change everything. Things took an even wilder turn when internet sleuths uncovered shocking details in the New York Times digital archives, image files allegedly labeled Smear Baldoni and Lively Topper, with creation dates that predated Lively's official court filing. Owens wasted no time emphasizing how huge this discovery was. Normally, major news outlets use random strings of letters or neutral file names when prepping stories, not blatantly biased labels like smear. Even more suspicious, the timestamps reportedly showed that some of these images were created and uploaded days before the lawsuit was even public knowledge. Owens insists this is hard proof that the negative coverage of Baldoni wasn't just reporting, it was a pre-planned attack. And that raises the million-dollar question. Why would the Times have an anti-Baldoni image ready to go if no formal accusations had surfaced yet? According to Owens, this points straight to Hollywood's elite power players, specifically Lively and Reynolds, allegedly feeding insider info to the press to ensure the article landed at just the right moment. Sure, newspapers sometimes prepare background pieces ahead of major scandals, but Owens argues that the wording in these files suggests something way more calculated. She calls it a textbook case of the media being weaponized in a one-sided takedown, one Baldoni didn't even realize was happening until it was too late. But the media frenzy was only part of the story. Owens then shifts focus to the film production itself and the infamous rooftop rewrite that, according to her sources, caused serious tension between Lively and Baldoni. It Ends With Us was initially hailed as Baldoni's passion project. He had full directing duties, producer credits, and significant creative control, thanks to his reputation for heartfelt, deeply emotional storytelling. But behind the scenes, things were far from smooth. Enter Blake Lively. cast in a lead role and known for being a hands-on actress who isn't afraid to shake things up. According to Owens, Lively approached Baldoni with a fresh take on a key rooftop scene. At first, it seemed like a simple case of an actor shaping their character's emotional journey. But behind the scenes, Owens claims a serious power imbalance started to unfold. Leaked text messages, cited in Owens' exposé, allegedly show Baldoni responding politely to Lively's rewrite, praising certain elements while gently suggesting they blend her ideas with the existing script. But that wasn't enough for Lively. In a string of messages, she reportedly vented her frustration, claiming she'd been overlooked in the past and that her creative input had never been fully appreciated. From her perspective, this wasn't about undermining Baldoni, it was about finally being taken seriously as a creative force. Owens, however, tells a very different story. She claims Lively orchestrated a private gathering at her penthouse, presenting it as an intimate brainstorming session, just the two of them. But when Baldoni arrived, he walked into a room with Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift, two A-list powerhouses, who, according to Owens, were unshakably supportive of Lively's rewrite. The presence of these two megastars, Owens argues, was no coincidence. It created an unspoken but immense pressure on Baldoni. He was left with a choice: accept Lively's version entirely or risk alienating a Hollywood power trio. Baldoni, known for his easygoing nature and deep respect for female collaborators, eventually gave in. Owens points to a voice note where Baldoni can allegedly be heard apologizing profusely to Lively, assuring her that he valued every word of her script. According to Owens, that was the moment Baldoni officially surrendered. Control over the film's most crucial scene had officially shifted. Following the penthouse meeting, Baldoni's team reportedly scrambled to incorporate Lively's changes. Production schedules were adjusted, budgets were reworked, and entire shooting plans had to be reshuffled. Behind the scenes, Owens claims, Baldoni quietly confided in close colleagues. He felt uneasy, but with Lively stressing how undervalued she'd been in past projects, he didn't want to stir conflict. According to sources who reached out to Owens, Baldoni's biggest concern was suddenly unclear. Whose vision was really shaping the rooftop scene? Had Lively truly rewritten it herself, or was she acting as a front for someone else's ideas? The rumors only escalated when crew members overheard talk of Ryan Reynolds' comedic flair somehow slipping into the script. At the time, no one seriously considered the possibility that Reynolds himself had rewritten the scene. And so, Baldoni pressed forward, likely assuming that backing from an A-list star could only boost the film's final product. After all, he'd built his career on collaborating with big personalities and keeping the peace with strong-willed co-stars. But according to Owens, that trust may have set him up for what she describes as a red carpet betrayal. Fast forward to the premiere. If there had already been tension behind the scenes, it was nothing compared to what was about to unfold in front of the world's entertainment press. During an interview, Blake Lively was asked a routine question. How did she and Ryan Reynolds juggle their hectic schedules while working on separate projects? But her response? It was a bombshell. Lively casually revealed that the iconic rooftop scene in It Ends With Us had been written entirely by her husband. On the surface, it could have sounded like an innocent, even sweet anecdote, just a devoted spouse stepping in to refine a script. But the real impact, that's where things got explosive. For Justin Baldoni, the producers, and everyone who had bent over backward to accommodate Lively's rewrite, her red carpet confession wasn't just surprising, it was an earthquake. Up until that moment, the official story was that this was Blake's creative vision, her passion project. She had fought for changes. She had orchestrated the penthouse meeting. She had pushed for deeper emotional layers in the script. So why, at the last second, was she handing the credit to Ryan Reynolds? Candace Owens frames this as the ultimate act of betrayal. By publicly giving Reynolds the writing credit, Lively completely erased everything Baldoni had sacrificed to accommodate her supposed creative vision. It wasn't just a slap in the face, it rewrote the entire narrative of what had gone down behind the scenes. According to Owens, production staff were furious. Some felt blindsided by the revelation, while others worried they might have unknowingly breached union rules. Since Ryan Reynolds had zero official contract to contribute to the script, for Baldoni, the impact was devastating. He hadn't just been sidelined, he'd unknowingly been following Ryan Reynolds' lead the entire time. And worse, he now looked like a director who didn't even know where key story elements of his own film had come from. Owens marks this as the exact moment when the Baldoni-verse Lively conflict erupted from a quiet, behind-the-scenes struggle into a full-scale public. In her view, the timing of Lively's reveal was no accident. It was designed to undermine Baldoni's credibility just as the film was about to premiere. But in the aftermath of that bombshell, all eyes turned to Ryan Reynolds himself. Reynolds is known for his razor-sharp wit, a social media king who never misses a chance to poke fun at his fellow celebrities, including friends, co-stars, and even his own wife. But according to Owens, some of his harmless jokes, online hints, and even Easter eggs seem to take aim at one person in particular, Justin Baldoni. It started subtly, a few winks in the promotional material for Deadpool and Wolverine. Some lines referenced finicky directors or rom-com guys who couldn't handle conflict. At first, fans brushed it off as classic Deadpool-style humor. But then, people started connecting the dots. These jokes eerily matched the exact controversy swirling around Baldoni at the time. And suddenly, what seemed like random banter started looking a lot more personal. Owens argues that there's a clear timeline where Reynolds' comedic jabs intensify right alongside Lively's escalating script dispute. Some of his seemingly lighthearted social media posts, not so innocent. According to Owens, certain comedic vignettes shared by Reynolds could be inside jokes aimed directly at Baldoni. Was this intentional? That's up for debate. But Owens insists that the pattern is impossible to ignore. Then came another eyebrow-raising detail. Hidden right in the credits of It Ends With Us, a cryptic special thanks to Gordon Reynolds. Fans who dug into it uncovered uncanny similarities to Ryan Reynolds' distinct comedic style, leading many to believe it was a not-so-subtle nod to his behind-the-scenes influence. Owens suggests that this was Reynolds' way of signaling to the world that, yes, he was the true architect of those script changes and Baldoni never stood a chance. When you piece all these clues together, Owens says, the real story becomes crystal clear. Blake Lively didn't just push for creative input, she strategically maneuvered Baldoni out of the driver's seat on his own project. And she didn't do it alone. Owens claims Lively weaponized her Hollywood power circle, especially her relationship with Ryan Reynolds, to completely take control. And then there's the metadata bombshell. Owens insists it proves that this wasn't just a messy disagreement, it was a premeditated strike. She believes someone fed a carefully crafted storyline to the New York Times before the controversy even exploded. The suspicious creation dates, the loaded term smear, it all suggests a deliberate effort to publicly undermine Baldoni once Lively's complaint went public. But that's not all. Factor in Reynolds' cryptic online digs, the surprise involvement of Taylor Swift in key meetings, and the eerily well-timed media leaks, and suddenly, Owens argues, this wasn't just a chaotic series of events, it was a carefully executed power play. Owens argues that Baldoni's kindness and open-minded nature made him the perfect target. Known for championing strong female voices in Hollywood, he was naturally inclined to give extra weight to Lively's creative input. But Owens claims that very deference was used against him, allowing Ryan Reynolds to quietly position himself as the true mastermind behind the film's most crucial scene. And the worst part? The reveal didn't come in a closed-door discussion. It played out on a global stage, blindsiding the entire production team. After unraveling the metadata mysteries, penthouse power plays, behind-the-scenes comedic digs, and a web of strategic alliances, Owens stands firm in her conclusion: Blake Lively's red carpet bombshell was no accident. Instead, Owens sees it as a carefully veiled betrayal, designed to rewrite the narrative, erase Baldoni's control, and hand the spotlight to Reynolds at just the right moment. And this scandal raises bigger questions about Hollywood's carefully polished image. Owens asks, is Hollywood's friendly veneer as genuine as it seems? Can even the most picture-perfect collaborations hide manipulative power plays and behind-the-scenes betrayals? Owens leaves that for the public to decide, but her message is loud and clear. Sometimes a betrayal doesn't come with harsh words or open conflict. It's masked by charming smiles, casual jokes, and perfectly timed media leaks. And if Baldoni's experience is any indication, even Hollywood's warmest welcomes can hide a knife behind the back. And this story, far from over. More secrets are bound to come to light. And make sure to subscribe for more on the latest celebrity news and all the behind-the-scenes drama. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.